WiseGuyBets here with some picks from tonight for DFS DraftKings main slate. Today's date is 6/15/2021. We got 15 games on the slate. Let's get right into it and look at the pitcher position. At pitcher, I like Lance McCullers Jr. for Houston. They're at home versus Texas. His projection for tonight is 18.9. His ERA on the season is 2.96. He's pitching basically 6 innings per game. His last outing, he pitched 5. His last 3 games fantasy points wise is 35, 19, and 13. He's averaging 19 fantasy points on the season. Against Texas, his last 5, against against Texas in his last 5, 24, 31, 25, 19, and 13. It's in home, very favorable matchup. Like the salary of 8,700. Mr. McCullers Jr. is someone I want to get into my lineup at pitcher tonight. Let's look at the catcher position. At catcher, we're looking at Salvador Perez for Kansas City. His projection on the night is 8.4 fantasy points. He has 16 homers on the season. He's getting about 4 at-bats per game. His last 3 fantasy points games were 0, 12, and 7. He's averaging 8 fantasy points on the season. Expensive at 5,300. He's 5 for 9 against this pitcher. 4 singles, 1 double. He's batting .556 against the Detroit pitcher. Mr. Perez is someone I want to definitely get in my lineup tonight to be productive. And we have a decent point spread, expectation of 8.5 points. He may get 5 at-bats tonight. So let's look at the first base position. At first base, we're looking at Matt Olson for Oakland against the Los Angeles Angels. His projection on the night is 8.1. He has 18 homers on the season. He's batting .290. He's getting about 3.6 at-bats per game. His last 3 games, fantasy points-wise, it's been 31, 28, 7. So you can see he's been hot. He's averaging 10 on the season. He's 4 for 12 against this pitcher. 3 singles, 1 double. The point spread is 8.5. He's at home. Mr. Olson is someone I definitely want to look at getting in my lineup tonight. He is very expensive, but he's a stud, and I think tonight you may have to look at building around your studs. So Mr. Olson is someone I definitely want to get into my lineup tonight at first base. Let's look at second base. Second base, we're looking at Marcus Semien from Toronto. His projection on that is 8.3. He's got 15 homers on the season. He's batting .290. He's getting about 4 at-bats per game. His last 3 games, fantasy point-wise, is 16, 21, 0. He's coming off a 0. His season fantasy point average is 10 over 64 games. So his salary is 5,200. In home against the New York Yankees. He's 1 for 2 against the pitcher tonight. Just 1 single on 2 at-bats against the pitcher he's facing tonight. Coming off a 0, leadoff position, in home with the over and run total expected around 9. I won't miss the Semien in my lineup. He's going to have a bounce back game, and his games are, probably a double-digit bounce back game. So his last 5 against New York are 3, 16, 3, 8, and 16. So Marcus is someone I definitely want to get in my lineup tonight at second base. Let's look at the third base position. We're going to look at Justin Turner for the LA Dodgers. His projection for the night is 8.7 fantasy points. He has 12 homers on the season. He's batting .278. He's getting around 3.7 at-bats per game. His last 3 games, 14, 8, 0. So he's not playing that well, but he's coming off a 0 in a favorable matchup. He's 2 for 5 against this pitcher with 2 doubles. So his only hits against this pitcher has been extra base hits. So that means he gets good contact against this pitcher, hits the ball pretty hard. That will not change. He's 5,900, a little expensive, but I like a bounce back game coming from Mr. Turner tonight. in a game with a projection of 8.5 over and under, and Mr. Turner's playing at home. So Justin Turner is someone I definitely want to look at getting into my lineups tonight at the third base position. Let's look at shortstop. And we're going straight stud on shortstop tonight. We're going to go with Fernando Tatis Jr. His projection is 9.2 points, 9.2 fantasy points tonight. He has 19 homers on the season, one of the tops in the leagues in that. He's batting .273. He's getting 3.7 at bats. His average fantasy points for the season is 12 over 50 games. His last three are 14, 23, and 0. And Mr. Tatis is coming off a 0 in a favorable matchup where he's 3 for 7 against his pitcher, 1 single, 1 double, 1 home run, batting .429. 6,400, probably the most expensive player on the slate tonight, but he's someone I would definitely love to build my lineups around because he's going to produce. He has the best matchup of the night. It's on the road, but it's still very good for him. And Mr. Tatis Jr. is someone I definitely want to get in my lineups tonight at shortstop. Let's look at the outfield. In the outfield, we're looking at Austin Slater, probably one of our only value picks for tonight. Mr. Slater plays for San Francisco. His projection is 8.4 fantasy points for tonight, batting .214 on the season, getting 2.5 at bats per season. He's only averaging 5 fantasy points over 57 games. His last 3 is 0, 0, and 7. Again, I like the matchup. He's 4 for 8 against this pitcher he's facing, 2 singles, 1 double, 1 home run. He's batting .500 against the pitcher. He obviously hits the ball well against this pitcher. So Mr. Slater is someone I definitely want to get into my lineups tonight in the outfield. He's actually my value pick and one of the sleepers for tonight who can give us double-digit fantasy points off a $3,800 salary, and I'm basing that salary on DraftKings. For quick analysis, I'm using draft dashboards to help me with my picks. Draft dashboards have helped me out recently and in the past for getting a read on some possible sleeper players, and I try to share those players with you guys. So if you like my videos, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel so you'll know when new videos are posted. We try to post videos on most days of the week. Into the next video. Peace.